Hey guys, what's going on? This is Travis P11, and today we're going to go ahead and bring you just a simple breakdown and cleaning video for the Kahr CT9. I just took this firearm to the range a couple days ago. I ran about 50 rounds through it, did about 25 rounds on camera, and then ran another 25 rounds through it. And judging by all the stuff that I have sitting out here, you would think I'm about to do some kind of open heart surgery. I'm not going to lie to you guys, this is not, for me, it's not an easy gun to disassemble compared to some of the other polymer guns that are out there. And so we're going to do this in two parts. I'm going to do a disassembly cleaning in the first take, and then I'm going to stop the camera and come back and show a reassembly. I genuinely have a hard time reassembling this gun. I struggle with this gun when I reassemble it, and I've only reassembled it a few times, but it's very similar to a 1911 in the way that you put it back together. Just some of the components and some of the fit and finish. So, all right. So anyway, Kahr CT9. This is your 8+1 striker fired semi-automatic 9mm pistol. Your magazines are okay. They're not bad. They have some fairly sharp feed lips on the top. You want to be careful when you take them out. I know my thumbs were getting just destroyed out in the cold weather when I was doing that shooting because it was so cold and so rough. But anyway, I do have a new magazine coming for it. I went ahead and bought one on eBay for like 35 bucks. If you order these from, it's a K920 magazine, I think is what it's actually called, the part number. And the only bad thing about these is if you want to order them from the factory, they're like 45 bucks. So let's go ahead and get started here. So we'll check and make sure that the firearm is in fact unloaded, and it is. Okay. What you have to do is you have these little co-witness marks here, I guess you could say, and you have to line this little tab up right here, and then you have to push out the slide stop. And you might wince when you see how I pop this thing out, but it just does not come out easily on its own. So what I do is I get a grip on it and I line it up with my left hand like this. Okay, and then I put the gun down right here on the countertop, and I'm watching this through the camera, guys, to make sure it stays on. Grab yourself a fairly large punch or other blunt object, and then just push. And your pin will lock. Okay, you can pull back a little bit, and then your pin, well, yeah, I ended up having to use a punch last time to get the pin out, so anyway, let's go ahead and get this, take that tension off of it here real quick. There we go. Kind of hold it a little bit, and push that pin out just a little bit, and then it comes out. So again, I'm trying to be as delicate as I can, but this is not a very simple operation. So anyway, you just go ahead and pull the trigger, and your slide will come right off. Very lightweight, simple, basic frame inside. I mean, you don't have any metal inserts that I can see unless they're in between the plastic, so it is a very simple design. So anyway, when I clean a firearm, I'll look at it and see how much carbon buildup I have inside of it. Again, everybody has their own method for cleaning their gun, and if you got something that's a little bit cooler that you use, or easier or simpler or whatever, just share in the comments, let me know. What I usually do is just spray the inside with some rim oil. And, you can take a Q-tip to it if you need to, but I'm just going to go ahead and wipe this out with a little cut-up patch. I just started using cut-up t-shirts recently because I was getting tired of my local store selling out of the patches that I normally buy. Just kind of wipe off some of that carbon. Again, if you know how to clean a pistol, great. You can just kick back, watch this video, chill, take it easy, relax after working, right? Taking it easy. Just kind of hit it a little bit more. And then I usually spray, and you can tell you've got some gunk on there. This is 25 rounds, and it's a little dirty. It's not bad. And I'm just going to go ahead and wipe it out. You want to maybe make sure you don't have real heavy lubrication in this gun if you're going to be going to the range and it's going to be cold outside, because you don't want that to freeze up on you. Okay, so we got that basically all done. Just kind of go over it a little bit and scrub it. You can take a brush through it if you want to. I like to wipe out the inside of the magazine well and so on. If anything, I'm probably just a little bit more, I guess you could say, like just particular about how I clean my guns and maintaining them and keeping them clean and so on. Gonna go in there and get any carbon that might be hiding. There we go. Okay, so we got that all finished up. Now, I don't know if I've ever really done much of a cleaning before with a pistol on camera. It's kind of an interesting experience. So, yeah, I like it. Okay, here's your slide stop. Just go ahead and wipe that off. And on this gun, I'm just going to keep it with a nice thin coat of rim oil. I mean, on my ARs and my AKs, I have a tendency to use like CLP and really heavily lubricate the action mechanism and so on. Okay, so there's your slide stop. That's all done. Another thing I like to do is to shoot a little bit of rim oil on a Q-tip. Okay, and just go ahead and run it through the slides. This will pick up any carbon that's been hiding in the slides. It's not too bad. Not too bad. Again, these are plastic, and I'm hoping that the frame on this thing holds out. It seems to be a pretty good quality plastic. I'm thinking it's like a Zytel maybe. Just go ahead and catch the inside of the rails right here too. Catch every little part of it. And hopefully my audio isn't too wackadoodle. I'm going to be talking from the left and the right while I do this. After that I'll take a little bit of oil and just wipe down my magazine, get any carbon buildup that might be on there. And I had to use the same magazine and reload it 3 times at the range because I don't have 2 magazines yet. Okay, so there we go. Got that all taken care of. Okay, so that's done. Okay, now the next thing that you want to do, and I tend to generate a lot of trash while I do this, that stuff out of the way. Go ahead and take out your recoil spring and your guide rod. It's just a little bit different design, but not much so from a lot of the other pistols that are out there. This is almost kind of like a blowback style. I don't know, the spring is real lengthy, like a 1911, I guess you could say. And you've got a heavy steel guide rod. So what I'll do is just pull those out, and I'll just spray them down with a little bit of oil. I mean, you can use whatever lubricant you want. I'm sure there's some tried and true lubricants out there that you like to use, that you've had great luck with, and go right ahead. That's not a problem. Just as long as you're keeping your gun clean, I think that's probably the most important thing. Go through. Oh, my cat's meowing at me. Allie's down here, the 20-year-old. She's a little temperamental sometimes. I don't know if Ammo Cat's going to join us or not. We had been doing a lot of work in our house today, and she was running all over the place and jumping and having fun. So Dharma, or Ammo Cat, those of you that know her, she's actually upstairs sleeping right now. So I don't want to wake her up and force her to make a guest appearance. Okay, now we'll go ahead and pull out the barrel. And for the barrel, I generally just wipe down the outside of it. And this gun was fairly well lubricated when I went to the range, because I wanted to make sure everything, there'd be as little friction as possible as we start to break it in. Kind of spray down the outside a little bit, right? Kind of wipe it off. All cleaned off. There you go. This is going to be maybe a little more abbreviated from what I usually do, just for the sake of length and so on. So not bad. Okay, now what I do, I like to take a little bit of CLP and just shoot that down the barrel. And it kind of foams up as it runs down it. It's messy stuff, I know. And it starts coming out the end. Okay, now when that happens, I'll take a brass brush and I'll go from the rear to the front. Just run that through a couple times. This will break up any carbon fouling that might have built up in your barrel. Now I was shooting a pretty good ammo. I was shooting Federal brass, so it wasn't necessarily too messy, right? Okay, so we'll get that out of the way. All right, now we'll go ahead and clean out the barrel. So I got this, I think this might have came with my Glock or another pistol. I'll take this and just run a few patches through it initially, just to kind of get some of the carbon gunk out of that barrel. And then we will work on reassembling, getting that all finished. By the way, guys, I think it's great. I got so many viewers and having you guys leave comments and feedback and hearing from you. That's really cool. Really enjoying that. I enjoy making these videos. I keep having all these ideas for videos that I want to make, and so I'm going to keep working on them. And I don't know, I just came up with a couple more. I realized I've never done any kind of an accuracy test on the Kahr CPX2. And there's a million YouTube videos out there that you guys can watch on these guns. I watch a lot of them. I'll watch multiple reviews just to see if, a bunch of guys have the same problem with a particular firearm, or if they have good luck with a particular firearm. And if they do, then I can usually feel confident in purchasing that gun. Yes, Allie. Yes. Yes. You have food upstairs. Go eat. You got plenty of food. You eat better than I do. What? Okay, so it's coming out pretty good. Okay, we ran a few patches through it. So what we're going to do now is just go ahead and run a... Now, let's do one more thing real quick. This little lug that you have here on the barrel, sometimes I'll put a little rem oil on that too. Just run it through. Wipe it through, clean it out. Also, you'll tend to get some carbon buildup in the edges where your lugs are for your barrel. So it's nice to keep those nice and clean too. Really hoping this is in focus, guys. Thinking about getting maybe a different camera here at some point, just for the sake of the video. So, all right, now we'll take a little bit of rem oil on another patch. I mean, you can run like Hoppy's 9 or other cleaners on these parts if you really want to do a good degreasing. This particular gun's really not that dirty, so I'm not too worried about it. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and run a patch through it. I don't have my bore light with me. It's actually upstairs, and I don't want to have to pause to go get it. But bore lights are nice to have too. I can see how clean my bore is just by holding it up into the light and looking, and it's nice and clean, nice and smooth inside. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and set that off to the side right now, so that's not so bad. If a patch isn't too dirty, you can always reuse it to do a little more cleaning and so on. Now, like I said, when I do the reassembly on this gun, I'm going to pause the camera and start at that point. I have a hard time reassembling this gun. I know I'm whining and complaining about it. Instead of me sitting there for 5 or 10 minutes trying to align it properly to get that slide stop to go back in, I'm just going to go ahead and stop the camera, and I'll bring it back up when I get done. You're not supposed to disassemble the striker mechanism, and there is a little bit of carbon buildup in here, especially around the back where your firing pin is and so on, and your extractor. And so what I'll do is just spray the inside with some oil, some rem oil again. Kind of turn it on its side so stuff doesn't run into the striker area. I know it doesn't give you a very good view. And then just take another patch or cut up t-shirt or whatever and just start wiping it out. You know, you can let it soak for a little while if you want to. That's not a problem. This gun, being it's I believe stainless steel, it really does clean up nice. I'm fairly impressed with the quality on it. It is a good gun. Okay, so we'll go ahead and just wipe out the inside. You always want to make sure that you get the edges and all the different crevices and so on. Now this part, what I like to do is spray a little rem oil on a brass brush, okay, and then just go take it up on the extractor area. I don't know, you guys might be wincing when you see this. It really does nothing to mar the finish. This is a soft brass brush, and then just hit it with your patch and wipe it out, and you'll see all kinds of crud come off with it. So not bad. You can see it kind of coming up on the top and so on. I'm impressed with this gun. It is a good shooter. You know, I was shooting a little low and to the left, and I'm not going to sit here and sound like I'm bragging, like I'm Jerry Michaluk, that guy, that awesome shooter for Smith, but I generally can hit bullseyes when I'm aiming at the center. If I'm shooting multiple groups and a firearm does not hit center, then I know that I do need to do some sort of side adjustment. So I'm going to see what I can do. I need to put a lot more rounds through this gun just so I can get more comfortable with it. And if I need to, maybe adjust the dovetailing, or the dovetailed sights in the back and the front, just to see if I can. Well, the front's pinned, I'm sorry, but the rear is slightly adjustable. So put a little bit of rem oil here on a Q-tip and just get in that rail. I know you guys might be saying, oh man, you over lubricate that thing. I don't use hardly any oil in my guns and stuff. And I don't know guys, I've been shooting for years and I usually don't have a whole lot of issues. Sometimes, well, on this one you really can't do it, but sometimes you get in there and clean out that striker mechanism a little bit too. And always make sure that you get in there behind that extractor. You want to definitely get your Q-tip in there and get any carbon buildup that's going to be back there too, and it'll come off. It'll definitely come off. So again, this is just kind of, I guess you can say, kind of a quick and dirty cleanup of a rifle, or I'm sorry, of a pistol. Okay, so that's pretty much where we are right now. So we're going to start to do some minor disassembly. I'll stop the camera and put the slide back together, and we'll go from there. So light coat of rem oil inside. You know, you can use CLP if you want to. It doesn't matter. Just make sure that you use something. You always want to make sure that it's not going to freeze up in the wintertime and so on, okay? I tend to over lubricate my guns a little bit, and it's probably from the fact that my guns will sometimes sit for months without me shooting them, so I want to make sure they're nice and clean. Okay, you want to get up there and get this wiped out, and you'll be surprised. You'll get carbon buildup inside all the tubes and so on. And I do this with all my guns. I am busy right now. You have food, you have water, okay? Go upstairs. Go have fun. Go play with mommy. Go play with Dharma. What? Okay, so anyway, I love her, guys. I really do, but she's been sleeping all day. She could be, you know, doing other stuff right now. Instead, she wants to join us for the video, and that's fine. That's fine. All right, so we got that much done. Okay, so now, last thing I'm going to do is just a little rem oil again on a patch. I'm like 15 patches in on this thing. Just go ahead and wipe off your guide rod. Okay, just kind of get that a nice little clean. Let's go ahead and put your spring back in. Hopefully it doesn't matter which side I take here. I don't think it really does. Okay, and it goes this way. Okay, and then what you want to do is go ahead and just take your barrel and give it one more final little wipe down of oil so all the surfaces have a light coating on them. It's not bad. This is showing just normal wear and tear. I mean, it is, you know, steel guns have a tendency to kind of age differently than ones that have, you know, like a nitron finish or maybe Cerakote or whatever. So you start to see all the different wear and tear, but kind of adds to the patina of it all. It definitely looks cool. So go ahead and put your barrel back in there. All right, and then you got your guide rod. Now you want to make sure that this little circle on your guide rod does in fact seat right here on the step where the barrel and the lug and stuff are. You want to make sure that that part lines up when you put it back together so it's not off. I'm very happy to see that they use a steel guide rod, which is really cool. All right, so then just go ahead and push your guide rod back into place. I'll have to make sure that's in there correctly. Okay. And we'll go ahead and put it back together. Like I said, I've only done this one time, so it's a little more complicated for me. Apologize for that. Oh boy. Yeah, we are having a little bit of trouble, aren't we? Let's try that again. Let's move it this way. You got the barrel in there. It's a little awkward, you know, compared to a lot of your polymer guns and so on when you're reassembling it. All right. Tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and pause filming here and just take my time and put it back together so you don't have to waste your guys' time. So just bear with me, guys. All right. Okay, guys, we're back. I got the slide mechanism in there. So I'm sorry, I got the guide rod and your spring back in there and got it seated where it's supposed to be. So we are good to go. It's just a little bit of a pain because you have to definitely get it so that it is flush with the front of the barrel there. So all right, okay, now we got this much done. All right, so what I like to do is I like to put just a little bit of oil right here on the rail, just a dab. Okay, it's a little bit. You know, this gun's still being broken in. It says in the manual it takes up to 200 rounds before it's fully broken in. I will probably put another 50 rounds through it, if not more, before I start to daily carry it. I have a Kydex holster coming from Klinger Holsters, and so it's not going to be here for a few weeks yet, but it did finally hit the production line. They sent me a email telling me that. I love Klinger holsters, but they do take a little while to get the holster to you, and I think a big part of it is, you know, they just don't make it until you order it, which has a little bit to do with it. You can, if you want to, put a little bit of oil in the rails here. Again, this is a very, you know, metallic gun. It's very, very much heavily, you know, machined and put together well. It's a very stout piece, very solid feeling. I think a lot of it just has to do with the steel finish. So, all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and let the oil just run down the rails. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just put the slide back on, get it to where I need it, push the pin back in, and then I'll bring it back. I'm not gonna put the process on camera because for me it can be a bit complicated and I don't wanna waste your time. So I'll get that part reassembled. I'll give you just a few thoughts on the gun. Don't get me wrong, love the gun. I'm not trying to complain too much about it. It is a great firearm. The trigger is wonderful. I was shooting what I would consider acceptable groups, and I learned a lot about how this gun shoots from taking it to the range the other day. And so let me go ahead and do that, and then I'll come back with a few final thoughts, and we'll go from there, guys. Okay? All right, so hang in there. Okay, guys, so go figure, it just went right back together. All you have to do is just hold it until you get those co-witness marks lined up, and you just push your pin back in, your slide stop, and it just popped right in this time. So I think a lot of it is just figuring out what kind of grip to have with it when you assemble it and disassemble it and so on. Go ahead and check it a few times. It's starting to loosen up a little bit, but it still has a very stout spring. One thing I had mentioned in the video, I don't know if you guys had heard me say it, but they do recommend that you only release your first round using the slide stopper only. And when you try to just pull back the slide and let go, you might find the gun actually jamming a little bit. And one of the reasons why, I don't know if this is going to show it very well, what you run into is that your feed ramp is offset to the left ever so slightly, so your rounds do not line up 100% with the feed ramp. And so, you know, in a reload situation, in a panic situation, you'd want to make sure that you are releasing it from the button, so you're not trying to chamber the first round and it just jacks itself open and it stays open. That's actually what happened to me the first time. I just put my magazine in and just la-di-da-di, pull back the slide and let go, and it just and it stopped about a 1/4 inch from being completely shut. So yeah, it does say to make sure that you reuse the slide release button to chamber the first round. It also says you should not use the slide release button to chamber it on an empty round, like chamber it without any kind of round in the magazine at all. So when I'm just handling it and cleaning it, I just usually let go of the top slide and that's it. You got that nice little sight and post combination up on the top, which I found very easy to use. It was a total adjustment. You know, I'd never fired it before that video that I made the other day, and so it did take me a little while to get used to not having like a 3-dot system, which is what I usually have. So I'm gonna go ahead and just wipe it down real quick with some oil, okay? And there's gonna be a bit of a surprise. These videos are not gonna be in order. I'm gonna go put this up in the freezer, and we're gonna put it in the freezer for about 20 minutes. and we're going to see if it has any kind of delayed striker issues. There are some videos on YouTube where guys have Kahr pistols, and they put it in the freezer and they let it get frozen, or maybe they noticed it when they were out shooting in the cold, and they would pull the trigger and there'd be a few seconds of a delay before the striker would go off. And I'm going to go and do that right now just to see what happens. I'm going to go ahead and charge it so it does have it does have a striker in a ready to fire position. And the reason why is because if I would be out in the cold using this thing for extended periods of time, that gun could potentially get down to freezing or sub-freezing temperatures because it gets pretty cold out here where I live. So anyway, we're going to try that, and you might see that video ahead of this one because I can get that one up and running and put it out really quickly, whereas this one's going to take a little more editing. So there you have it, guys. You've got your Kahr CT9. It is a value-priced semi-automatic single-stack 9mm. I paid about $330 out the door for it. I got a pretty good deal on it, and then I got that $35 that I'm paying for my my next magazine that's coming for it, and so that'll be here soon. I'm gonna go ahead and get this all cleaned up, guys. Hey, thanks for watching. Thanks for checking out the channel. I love having people check out the videos and leave their feedback and give me cool ideas and talk and so on. It's great getting to talk to you guys. You can find me over on gunchannels.com or underneath the Ordinary Average Guy Gun channel. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram. It's at TravisP11 on YT, and I'll have all the links and stuff down below. And over on Instagram, it's just let's see, TravisP11 on YT. So there you go. I'm not on Facebook, guys. Again, I've said it a million times. I refuse to use Facebook because of what they do for us law-abiding firearms owners. Okay, how they treat us. So I don't use them at all. I don't use Facebook whatsoever. So there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for checking out the channel. And I'm gonna go ahead and put this thing in the freezer and just see what happens. So there you go, guys. Have fun. Be safe. Take care. And we will talk to you soon. Goodbye.